music streaming and what that would entail and what you should expect from music streaming. Okay, well, music streaming is a pretty recent thing. I've been in the business 40 years, so for me it's a pretty recent thing. For many of you, it's something that's a day-to-day situation. So what should you expect with music streaming? What does it pay? How does it happen? Let's do a little history on music streaming. Music streaming originally started way back. Well, people were trading MP3 files, so, you know, music was streaming in that sense. The moment you could make a WAV file or an MP3 file, you could put it on a website and stream it, you know? That's been going on for a million years. But Napster came along and started a whole music trading situation where there was like a repository or a server somewhere where there's a ton of music, and that music could be streamed or downloaded, right? Then all the record companies started flipping out because they were losing their sales. And their sales were being dug into by people stealing music. So the record companies decided to fight back and create music streaming, where you can listen to music and artists would get paid and record companies would have free promotion and so on and so on. Well, record companies took a big flop because of music streaming and because of online trading, like through different services that came on. So when the record companies started collapsing, a lot of the executives from record companies moved over to streaming. All right. So somewhere along the line, they said, hey, we've got to pay these people, or there's going to be some pretty big lawsuits going around because we're using their music online and we're not paying them anything. So basically what happens in an industry is there's something called what's industry standards, right? So if it's $5 for a container of milk, that's kind of the industry standard. If it's 99 cents to download a song off of iTunes or a digital outlet, that's kind of an industry standard. But when these guys got together, there was no industry standard for music streaming. There was an industry standard for paying people every time their song was broadcast on the radio, and that was about 2, 3, 4 cents or something like that. But now suddenly we have music streaming, and all these places don't have ads, so they're not generating the kind of revenue that radio stations were. So what was the standard for music streaming? So these guys got together from the record company and didn't want to pay artists like me, and they decided to have music streaming set at their own standard, which is 0.0025 cents a stream. I'm going to say that again. Every time your song gets played, you get 0 cents, 0.00025 cents a stream. That means you get a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a penny every time your music gets streamed. It used to be 4 cents every time it was streamed. So there are many cases where many people would have a million streaming and get a check for a couple $100 or $1,000. You know, my stuff gets streamed like crazy, and I'm lucky if I get $35 as a stream, right? So streaming is a double-edged sword, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good part is if you put your music into music streaming, you know, which we'll talk about in a minute, then you can reach millions and millions and millions of people that you normally wouldn't be able to do on your own without a record label. So that's a good thing, right? But if you want to make money off of your streaming, it's bad, because you're only getting 0.0025 cents a stream. If you were selling your record, you would get, depending on if you're on a record label, you would get 10 cents out of every dollar. If you're putting your own stuff up, and I have a thing up there previously about how you could use CD Baby to get your stuff up online, you get 50 cents, which is great. So do you want to get 0.0025 cents? Do you want to get 10 cents on a dollar? What do you want to get 50 cents on a dollar? Obviously, the 50 cents is great. But without streaming, if you're putting your music up alone, you're not going to get out anywhere. I have a lot of people say, I'm against streaming. I'm against streaming, but I'm kind of stuck with it because I have no other choice. There's no other way to promote my stuff other than me getting on some national TV show, which isn't going to happen right away. So how do I get every time I put a song out there, you can't go on national TV or national radio and promote it. Or you can't pay for full page ads. I mean, you can if you're super rich, but most musicians aren't. So streaming is kind of a double-edged sword. You kind of need it to get yourself out there, but you're kind of screwed because also streaming now eats into your record sales. Why should I buy your record when I can go on to, Napster, Napster. You can go on to Spotify, you can go on to Pandora, you can go on to Apple and pay $10 a month if you want without ads and stream your music. New album comes out. Why buy it when I can stream it? So if you're only able to buy it and you were really famous, yeah, you can make, tens, $100,000 or, more. But if you're a new guy or a little guy or a dance artist and you're streaming, you get a check for 20 cents. In the meantime, companies like Spotify make lots and lots of money selling their ads. But every time that ad runs in front of your stream, somebody pays, maybe $1 or 20 cents or $1. They're giving you 0.0025 cents, and the rest is for operational costs of running that server and the bandwidth and all that kind of stuff. Some of it is. But, Spotify, I think, is valued at $6 billion with a B dollars. Well, if it wasn't for artists like us, there wouldn't be a Spotify because they wouldn't have any music to play, but yet we're getting paid 0.0025 cents every time we play. So streaming is a blessing and a curse that you have to individually make a decision on. If you're nobody, streaming is great. Can you take stuff down if it's streamed for 6 months or a year? Of course you can, but then you're cutting your own throat. You have this, this portal to the world, and you're cutting it off. So if you think you could generate enough interest and then cut off streaming, and even the big people don't, because somebody else will come out and the public's attention will go to them. So how do you make money in this business? Well, streaming is not the way to do it. You ever wonder why those ticket sales are $200, $500? It's the only way an artist can make money is to sell live tickets. I'm a studio musician. I can't sell live tickets. I could probably go on the road if I had somebody invest in me and, put up a couple $100,000, put a show together, get a road manager, get a crew, pay for lighting design, pay for background graphics, put that all in a truck and go drive around, then I could make some money, but for the most part, you can't. So streaming is very important, and it's a blessing and a curse. If you decide to stream, that's your choice. Most people do. Now, how do you stream? There's many ways you could stream. You could submit stuff, and if you look online, there are ways to create the format that certain companies want, like Pandora and Apple and stuff like that. I go through CD Baby. Maybe you go through Bandcamp. I find CD Baby better because it also collects my money from publishing and sales and all kinds of things. And they format it into the Apple format, into the Spotify format, into the CD Baby format, and they send it out around the world to these streaming services, so I don't have to get onto each website, fill out a form each time, make sure that my artwork is their dimensions and their specifications and all that kind of stuff. I do it once I upload it to CD Baby, and you can choose what streaming services you want. And there's an option there to even do all streaming services, all iTunes stores and digital stores around the world. And there's a checkbox for do everything even free. And a lot of college campuses have streaming music into dorms. What a great way for people to get into you and hear your music. So you can opt in and opt out. You can just pick and choose on your own and submit. If you go through one of these services like Bandcamp or CD Baby, their stuff is automatically formatted, and they take it, I think, without review, because CD Baby is following their guidelines. So if you give the CD Baby and you're kosher with them, they'll send it out everywhere. And in my case, in 2 or 3 or 4 days, it's sending in the U.S. Store, and within 4 or 5 days, it's all around the world because the formats are there. If you want to get online and type into each website and put your stuff up for streaming, that's a great deal. I mean, it's a great deal of work. What does it mean for the future of people like me and you if you're making music or want to make music? You're not going to make a lot of money through streaming, but if you cut yourself off, you're just not going to make any money through sales. I don't know where the future of this is going unless a new form of technology comes out. Music now is just considered noise and background wallpaper. I mean, I put up a story about how I didn't get paid, and somebody thought I was complaining because I sold millions of records and never made a penny. And they said, what's the big deal? It's only music. And my answer to this person was, hey, you go to work every day, right? And when you go to work, say you get paid every 30 days or every 60 days because you're on a project, right? And when the project's done, you get paid. That's what it's like being in the record company. You get paid once every 90 days or once a year or twice a year or quarterly, supposedly, if your record company is honest. And then all of a sudden, imagine you going to work and working for a month, and you go to your boss, okay, hey, finish my work. Where's my paycheck? You're not getting paid. What do you mean I'm not getting paid? You're not getting paid. I don't want to pay you, or I don't have the money to pay you, or I took your money and I spent it on another artist developing them because I thought, everybody would get richer, but it backfired. Your money's gone. This is what happens in the record industry. So, not getting paid from streaming and unable to sell your music because everybody's streaming it puts artists in a very difficult situation. And a lot of people tell me, oh, there isn't really good music out there. Well, a lot of music isn't good out there because a lot of people, the good people, don't want to write music anymore. Why should I keep writing songs that someone else makes money on? You can put up your own label, and you can use social media, and you can get a lot of interest on who you are and live off the drippings compared to what it was many, many years ago. I mean, now if you sell 1 million or 2 or 3 million records, it's a big deal. I mean, I sold 5 million on my own, and I think 80 or 85 through Grand Theft Auto. There's 85, 90 million pieces with my music on it. That was like super rock star status, back in those days. And back in those days, you can't do those numbers anymore. So is streaming worth it? Is it something that you should do as an artist? Yes. Is it something you should do as a listener? Yeah. I mean, how else are you going to hear new music? Should you buy the music that you hear? Of course. But why should you buy it if you pay $10 a month and you can stream it? But just know when you do that and you don't buy it, there's somebody who really worked their ass off really, really hard and, is not getting paid for it. Now, should you buy every piece of music you stream? No. But if you have a couple of favorite artists, I think it's kind of important that you support them. Or maybe they have not a GoFundMe, a Patreon site where you could donate and support your artist, and in turn they give you new recordings, free tickets to their shows and stuff like that. Is the future of music production at risk? I don't think so. People will always be doing music, but as a career, it's drastically changed, and it's changing with the times, and it's changing with the technology, which is great. But we got to figure out a way to make it fair for artists. Now, that being said, there's a thing in Congress right now that's going on where I think it's called something like the Fair Copyright Act or something like that, because copyrights, if somebody grabs your song, like did in my case, and hangs onto the copyright and you can't fight them, they hold on to it for 35 years. So they're trying to change that. I think they're trying to change the way people get paid. Some places are trying to up the amount of money by a little bit that they pay artists per stream. But when I say a little bit, I'm talking about fractions of a cent. Spotify, Pandora, Geezer, we can go down a list of all these streaming services, including Apple. Apple is $1 trillion company, and Apple, if you're listening, put me to work for you to figure out a way to make this fair to artists to make some money, because we're not making money, and it's hurting us. You know, musicians have to take other jobs instead of doing their art, you know, and because of that, art and music is suffering and will suffer. So there's my thoughts on streaming, my insights. I hope you're enjoying what's going on here. I'm going live every Sunday. I'm trying to around noon, and I'm just going to keep doing some insights. I'm going to do reviews on software. I'm going to do some tutorials on how to mix or what a compressor is and all that kind of stuff. Hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys are enjoying this, and thanks, you know, like a lot for watching, and be cool.